Hello, hi everyone. You're watching Kids in Code, and we are here today to sort an array that's contains of 0, 1, and 2s. So this is a popular problem. So, as in companies like Paytm, Microsoft, Amazon, Morgan Stanley, many more. Let's see what the problem is. So, given an array of size n containing 0, 1s, and 2s, you need to sort the array in ascending order. So input will be the number of test cases, then the size of an array, and the number of elements in an array, separated by spaces. And output for each test case prints the sorted array. Constraints. Let's see the constraints. Its constraints are very important. Constraints likely makes us to think about time complexity and space complexity of a problem. So let's see, the test cases can be from 1 to 500, that's 2, and n can be from n1 to 10 to the power 6. This n from 1 to 10 to the power 6, mm, we can figure out from this that we have to solve this, and we can solve this in order of n complexity. Okay, so input, that's sample output. Okay, let's code. So we're going to code this problem in C++. We're absolutely fine working it. Okay, so how we're gonna code this? Simply thinking of think of a solution in O of n. That's important. So let's see how to take input first. Okay, so what you can say stuff is, okay, so test cases, that's in T, and we'll take n for the number size of an array. How to handle test cases is, wow, and the test cases is T. That's how we handle the test cases in competitive programming. That's simply T minus minus. What happens with this is, when T suppose 5 and when minus minus most reach to 0, it automatically goes out of the loop. So that's run exactly the number of times of a test cases. So yeah, so now we take in the n, the sample, and then we'll create an array. So remember to create a dynamic array. Dynamic array is what we need here, because we need to delete it after the test case is over due to space complexities. That's necessary. So let's take input in this array, and it's like simple like that. Let's not show taking the input. That's simple. Now what we have to do? Now what? What we're going to do is, so we're having is take element, so that's index 0, that will take all the 0 that will start from 0. That's necessary. And 1, that's index 2. So what these two, index 0, index 2, do is, that's n minus 1. So index 0 is initially pointing to the starting index of an array, and index 2 is pointing to an last index of an array. And we'll use integer I for iterating over an array. That's initially is 0. That's we have to iterate from 0 to the end. Okay. So look at these three variables. What we are going to do is, index 0 is, we are iterating with the help of I, And if we encounter at array of our element at array of I is 0, then we will exchange with index 0 and update I as well as index 0. If the element at index I of an array is 2, we'll swap array of I and array of 2, and we'll update, and we will make index 2 minus minus. That's what we are going to do. So let's see what we're going to do. Let's see through code what we're going to do. Yeah, so let's see. While I is less than is equals to index 2, we remember we are going to create as less than equals to index 2. After you dry run that, you'll come to know why we take less than equals to here. It's okay. So we'll have three cases. We can encounter 0, and we can encounter 1, and we can encounter 2 here. So if array at I is equals to 0, so what we're going to do is we are just going to swap element at index 1, index I, and index 0. So we can just make a swap function and I index 0, and the array itself we are going to pass it here. And what we're going to do is we are just in element index 0 is now a 0, so what we are going to do is array index 0 0 plus plus and I plus plus simply. Okay, so we have used this swap function here, so we have to make it somewhere. We have to declare somewhere, so what we're going to do is declare a swap function. We can declare it here somewhere where we are going to return nothing from it, so void and integer integer q and simply an array. What we say is a pointer. When an array is passed, only a pointer, that is starting index, is passed to a function. So what we can do is we can make a temporary variable, and temporary variable is RFP, simply like that, and array at P is going to be like swap function. Okay. Okay, that's a swap function. That's work perfectly fine. Okay. Okay. So yeah, here again. What we'll use here? We'll use here if else, because what happens in if else is it's work for only one condition. That is, it will work for if, or it will work for any one condition if in an if else if ladder. Okay. So we write here is array at I equals to 2. So what we are going to do is I'm going to swap index at I, index 2, and find array and array. Fine. So, and what we have to do is index 2 minus minus it. And finally, the last choice left is 1. We have compared here an element at index I is 0, element at index I is 2. We are left only with element and index I is 1. So we can simply take else. And we'll do I plus plus simply. That's fine. 2 working fine. So what next? What next inside? So what we do is print an array for every case. So now we have sorted the 012 array, and now we are going to print it. Now see this carefully. What we're going to do is see out A, and we are putting here space as in the question. We are putting here space, but when you are competing in competitions like ACM ICPC, you cannot put the space after the last element printed. We have to handle that case differently. So here we can do this. We cannot do in competitions like ACM ICPC and several other competitions like simply. So that's done. Finally, we have declared this array dynamically, so we have to delete it due to memory constraints. So how do we delete a dynamic array? Here is simply delete array an error. That's fine. I'll loop the end of this, and it's complete. That's the function of it. So now we tested how it's going on. Some methods. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's working fine. Execution time is 1.09 seconds. It's fine. And keep updated for the next interview problems. These help you in encountering the type of interview problems you are facing while interviewing at companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Adobe, OE Rooms, Morgan Stanley, etc. Various companies. And keep updated. Like, subscribe this video. Keep updated for the more videos. Thank you.